12 creatures like you'd expect out of Jund.
Yeah, Scavenging Ooze is still Scavenging Ooze.
Polukranos, Reaver of the Wilds, and Storm Breath. And then after that, he has removal. He has the Rakdos Returns, Anger of the Gods, Museum Mortars, Downfall, Abrupt Decay, Thoughtseize, and then Read the Bones for
this
some card
deck looks
draw.
good. It does. I like it.
Yeah, I am interested to see that this deck has started to be played. This is certainly something that a lot of teams back in the Pro Tour were trying because, okay, Jund midrange was certainly a powerful idea last standard. I think a lot of people wanted to recreate it. The conclusion which I'd come to, at least playing with it, was that I felt like Reaver of the Wilds was just not Huntmaster.
Yeah.
Like people could ignore it, and that was like the thing that Huntmaster and Olivia have going on is that you just can't ignore them.
You pretty much have to kill it.
Yeah, and Reaper, like people would ignore Reaper.
Sure. All right. Now Carlos, on the other hand, Carlos is playing the deck that's very, very popular. All right. Carlos is playing. You probably can't see Carlos right here, but Carlos to the left, he's actually playing the red green Mahar type deck. He's playing Xenagos. He's playing Domerade. Just a red green devotion type deck. Garruk, Voyaging Satyr, Elvish Mystic. Pretty much everything that you might expect.
Yeah. So this is the deck. It was played in the Pro Tour by Makihito Mihara.
Yes.
And I don't think it's had too many changes since then.
Out of the 75 cards, you'll probably see 65 out of the 75 exactly the same. Maybe about 10 or so a bit different between main deck and sideboard.
Yeah, so he made a couple changes. I know we saw Hal Brady win the SCG Dallas with this deck.
Yep.
He's actually added a Sylvan Primordial to the main, which is something a little different.
Yeah, it definitely is.
And he does
7-drop.
Yeah, and he has more Planeswalkers. He has the third Xenagos in his deck, so he actually has a full 10 Planeswalkers in the main.
Okay, sure. So, I mean, what do you like here? Obviously, Matt is up a game. He won the first game with his Jund deck. Regardless of that, let's go game by game. Do you think one player is favored, or do you think it's kind of close?
Well, if there's a weakness in the red-green Devotion deck, it's that the deck is a little soft to pinpoint removal.
Okay.
I think it's scary for Carlos that he lost game one because even though it's not Jund from last season, what I liked about Jund last season is that I thought it sideboarded better than any other deck in the format.
Sure.
And I can't imagine that it's very far behind. Just this idea of, like, Jund is the deck where you want to play only good cards. Like, that's the theme of Jund. So it has access to so many different options out of the sideboard. Like I'm going to run through part of Costa's sideboard here.
Okay.
Against Control, he has Thoughtseize, Duress, Underworld Connections.
All great cards.
Great. Mistcutter Hydra, Rakdos Return. Against Aggro, he has, Anger of the Gods, Golgari Charm. And these are just like all great things that he can be doing.
And speaking of Golgari Charm is good against Control, and it's good against Aggro. Against Control, you kill the Attention Sphere. Against Control, you regenerate from Supreme Verdict.
Well, these are all just really efficient cards.
Yeah,
that's the name of the game for Jund. Just, only play good cards.
Yep. All right. So it looks like Carlos will be on the play this game. Might help him out. Costa's hand looks, I think it looks like a 3-lander. It looks pretty good, right?
I say it looks like a Jund hand. It's just like
it's
got some lands, some cards.
Overgrown Tomb, Swamp. Those are his 3 lands.
Read the Bones and then some rares.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Well, so let's see if Carlo decides to keep. Most certainly Matt's going to keep. So we'll see what happens here. Okay, Carlos is going to lead off with an Elvish Mystic. Pretty good start, right?
Yeah, so when you look at the green red Devotion, what this deck had going for it is that its threats are difficult to answer.
Yes.
You need a deck that can answer a turn 3 Polukranos and Domri Rod.
And late game, what's the card he has to answer?
Gruk Caller Beast. Even when you answer it, sometimes your opponent draws
it's too late. Yeah. Sometimes it's just too late there. So Costa will pay 2 life, and are we going to see an Abrupt Decay?
We might see an Abrupt Decay there. Carlos started the game on Forest Elvish Mystic, so he actually has nothing other than green mana. Costa will still shock to play that Abrupt Decay.
Is he going to be a Boon Satyr here?
We may see. He thought he tapped it just to float a mana, and now is going to Boon Satyr.
That's pretty good. 4 power is important here.
Yeah.
And it attacks. Costa's going to have to use another removal spell on it, maybe a second Abrupt Decay.
Yeah, so Castro now has a clock down. I don't know if he has any other mana sources, though. He's going to hit Costa down to 14. Remember, Costa took 2 off that Blood Crypt.
I do see a Domer Rod, but probably no red mana, right?
Yeah, Domer Rod, a great card in this matchup, but no red mana.
All right, so Costa's got to be loving this here. He'll probably go Abrupt Decay, Thoughtseize.
He does. Yeah, well, he's going to lead on Thoughtseize to see what he has to play around. So we see Nylea, Burning Tree Emissary, Xenagos, Domri, Garruk. So the full trifecta of Planeswalkers.
Sure. So, I mean, Carlos is definitely sitting on that Burning Tree Emissary, just in case you drew another Forest, for example.
Right. And I think this is why he kept the hand, is that it's not that he needed a red mana turn 3. He just needed any land.
Essentially. So, but then again, when do you think he had that? Because he had Elvish Mystic. Do you think he drew Domri Rod that one turn?
Because he would have on turn 2 Mystic Domri.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So he must have drew Domri Rod.
Exactly.
the one turn too late. So if you're Costa here, what do you want to take here?
I mean, I still think the take is Domri Rod. Then you're forcing Carlos to draw 2 lands.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah,
that seems. I think that's the clear answer.
okay. So does Costa have a threat yet or no?
Costa does not have a threat
He
yet.
has an
His
Anger
own
of
life-
Gods, I see.
Yeah, he has
in hand.
He has Stormbreath Dragon.
Oh, in his hand, or
Yes, he has
oh,
Stormbreath
okay.
Dragon. So he's
oh,
going to actually take the Xenagos, leaving Domri in play.
Okay.
And then he passes the turn. He had the option to Sylvan Caryatid here,
Sure, yeah.
but did not.
Okay, so most certainly he's going to Abrupt Decay or no? Still
This will
takes
put
it?
Costa down to 8, I
Okay.
believe.
No, Costa goes to 10 here, I believe.
Well, he took 2 off the Thoughtseize.
2 Thoughtseize, a
2
hit.
Boon Satyrs.
Oh, yeah, I think you're right, yeah.
He's at 8.
Yeah. Okay, he is an 8.
So he's got to watch out a little bit. This is actually starting to affect the how good cards like Read the Bones are.
Okay.
Now, Costa did not
Nothing,
Abrupt
yeah.
Decay the Boon Satyr either on end step there.
Kind of interesting. Costa must have a certain line that he wants to take here.
I would say he is playing Jund more. He is playing it more blue than I've seen most Jund pilots.
Yeah.
You know, like when I see people play blue decks, it's like, oh, I had the kill cell, but I just didn't play it
Yeah,
yet.
I think Costa actually could have had a Stormbreath Dragon in play if that's.
He could have had some. Yes.
Are you sure there's a Stormbreath Dragon?
Yeah.
I know it's an Anger of Gods.
I believe he has one.
Yeah?
Okay. Well,
Okay. Well, we'll
Burning
find
Tree
out
Emissary
momentarily.
is going to go into
A
Nylea.
Nylea.
Yeah, he has the red, so he just wants to be mana efficient here. No, you're right. It's an Anger, not a Stormbreath.
Okay.
So he's saving Anger to try to get a lot of creatures with it, but that's at his life total is so low.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. Oh, he draws another Anger of Gods. Okay, so there's an Anger of Gods there. So Costa does not have a 5th land, so I'll have to pass the turn. And let's see what Carlos could do here.
All right, so Nylea's left on the board,
Yeah.
but that's just fine. That
He's
card's
still-
no good by itself.
Yeah, he still has the Domri Rod in his hand, though. So he could play that, because remember, Costa took the Xenagos with the Thoughtseize.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's a Burning Tree Emissary into the Domri Rod?
Yeah, Emissary into Domri. So now he's going to try to refill here. Almost
Yeah.
more importantly is if he hits a mana creature
Yes.
here, Nylea can attack.
Yeah. And
No,
it's nothing?
Can't
Okay.
be. You don't get to be the champion there.
Yeah, it kind of looked like Carlos wanted to put that on the bottom. He probably thought it was like Scry. He's like, oh, do I want this? No, it's not a creature, so.
So the patience from Matt Costa is going to be rewarded here as he's going to be able to Abrupt Decay that Domri Rod.
That's definitely going to be important. But then again, you remember the Burning Tree Emissary could get in because Costa only has 1 green source. So he can't play Sylvan Caryatid and Abrupt Decay. So
That's very true.
he's going to have to
He
decide.
may have to. Well, he can't really block with the Caryatid either because then Carlos can just pump the Emissary.
Yeah, and he would just take 1 also because he gives
Exactly.
+2/+2 and trample.
So he's going to, Matt Costa's going to Anger of the Gods again.
Okay. So Carlos will draw for their turn here. Maybe it's a land, which will get him one land closer to Garrick because we know it's not a creature.
It's not a creature.
So Domri goes to
It's either a land or Planeswalker. That's
Yeah,
all he plays.
Domri
are
goes to
creatures.
5. Nothing quite yet. Now, Costa doesn't have to worry too much about Domri's ultimate just because he knows that he still has
Yeah.
that Abrupt Decay in hand.
Nykthos would have ramped into the Garrick in Carlos's hand, except the Emissary is gone now.
Yep.
Remember, you needed 3 mana symbols for Nykthos
Ooh,
to start.
that's
making-
pretty good. So Costa drew a Thoughtseize. So he could actually go
Thoughtseize is huge.
Thoughtseize Abrupt Decay, and he could take Carlos's Garrick that he knows about.
There's a little bit of opportunity cost here in Thoughtseize. Remember that Costa's on 6. He has Read the Bones and Thoughtseize in his hand.
Yep.
I don't think he can. The question is, how many of these does he actually want to cast?
Sure.
There's only so many more of these spells he can cast. I think Thoughtseize is the better of them, to be
Yeah,
fair.
I mean, he could just go Rakdos Return for 2 here if he wanted to.
He can return for 2. You may also see Read the Bones with the attempt to find the land to Abrupt Decay with.
Okay, that's fair.
Thoughtseize will take Garruk Caller Beasts, and I think that's, if you know his hand, that's clearly the correct play.
I believe so. And so that's the play we thought. Thoughtseize Abrupt Decay. Even though he had to go down to 4, that's what he had to do.
Yep, and a draw from Castro, we know it's not a creature.
Yeah, it's probably just going to be like a blank there most of the time.
It's either a Garruk or a land.
Yeah. All right, so now if you're Costa, do you want to Read the Bones here, or do you just want to maybe play
Rakdos Return. for
Rakdos
2.
Return or Sylvan Caryatid? A couple of options here, right?
Caryatid.
Yeah.
So he's going to go with that. So Rakdos Return. Yeah.
He's thinking. I mean, all options are
It's probably
reasonable
a
here.
land, right? Like, that's what my thought of, if I'm Costa, it could be a land, but it
what
could
happens
be a
if
big
it's not?
Garruk. If
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
a big Garruk, because, right, those are the only things, it couldn't be a creature.
Yeah.
So it's either a land or a Planeswalker.
I mean,
which,
it could be like a Sylvan Primordial.
but that's a creature.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that is
Yeah,
creature.
we
Yeah,
knew
you're
it
right,
wasn't
yeah.
a creature.
All right, so there's a Sylvan Carotid. Let's see what Carlos. Yeah, I guess that's all it could really be
It's
here.
Color of Beasts, right?
Yeah, or
a
maybe like
land.
a sideboard, maybe another Nylea. It could
It
be.
could be there's only one Nylea on the main though. So yeah, I mean.
Oh no, yeah, it was
he
Garrick.
doesn't
yeah.
know his list.
Okay,
yeah.
so it was a Garrick.
It was another Garrick.
Yeah, okay.
And Rakdos returns it.
And Costa's gonna go read the bones down to
Down to
2.
2.
So he needs to draw a Xenagos here to finish him off, right? Xenagos would do it.
Xenagos would do it.
Anything else?
Costa drew into another land. Another Read the Bones. That's not a card.
Yeah. All right, let's see if he keeps it on top or puts it on the bottom. If he's keeping it on the top, it's got to be something really good. And he puts it on the bottom.
Well, what Costa needs to play around is he wants to start playing around Xenagos. He also needs to make sure that he is playing around Boon Satyr. That's a card that could very easily beat him on this board.
Okay. All right, so Costa just passes the turn.
Yeah, he has land, Rakdos return, and Read the Bones. That third one's not a card anymore.
I think Carlos just drew a Forest.
Well, he scried to the bottom with Temple of Abandon.
Yeah. So Costa with another land. This is actually a lot closer than we originally thought because Costa's hand was very good, and his opening hand was really strong. A lot of removal, has some card draw.
Yeah, he does have the tendency to punch himself a lot while playing, though.
Yeah.
And that's really has caught up with him.
Yeah. Another Sylvan Carotid.
So we've had 3 thoughts. Costa dealt 8 to himself, I believe.
Yeah. So maybe Costa's just trying to build up his mana and hit him with a big Rakdos return and finish him off with something else. All right, so Carlos drew something here. Okay, his own Sylvan Carotid. It helps a little, 3 away from Devotion here.
Well, it helps him. Yeah, it helps him play around both those cards we were talking about, the Xenagos and Boon Satyr that could kill him.
Sure. Now, Costa just drew a Polychronos here. So this is going to be pretty good for him, so he's able to actually start, hitting Carlos with something.
Yeah, Polychronos is huge here. Because Costa has so much mana, Polychronos is an answer to most of the things that Castro can draw.
Yep. So let's see if Carlos has drawn anything here. So he has enough mana to pump Carotid twice if he needs to, but that would... Yeah, okay. So it's still pretty close, to be honest here. Let's see what Carlos draws. Now with Polychronos, does Polychronos need to have a target?
Polychronos, no, you can just monster
You
sit.
can just monster it, right?
And then the trigger will just not, the trigger will be countered on resolution because there'll be nothing to target.
But you would still get the counters.
You'd still get the counters.
Okay, so that's fine. And what is Carlos doing here? He's tapping 6. What does he have? Okay,
he's
an
gonna
overload of
mortars.
Mizium
That
mortars.
takes care of 2. It takes care of 2 Caryatids, which does still clear the way for things like.
Yeah, it's not the best here by any means. It's not terrible.
I'm a pretty big fan, I would say. Because I still think the way he wins are those 2 pseudo haste cards, and by bringing Costa's board down to 1 creature,
yeah.
you're helping yourself.
Yeah. Now Costa's gonna take out that Voyaging Satyr here. And with the Rakdos return in Costa's hand, let's see how many mana he has. He has 9. So if he has 9 mana, he's able to Rakdos return for 7. So Carlos is still on 18 though, which is pretty good.
Yeah, so it's 3 turns. It's an 8/8.
Yeah, and just Costa is holding the Read the Bones, which is pretty much useless, and the Rakdos return that he can do for 7 right now.
So what Rakdos return does do is it.
Ooh, a Reaper.
Reaper of the Wilds is good.
It's good.
What Rakdos return does is it shaves 1 turn off Castro's
It
clock.
does, yeah. But I think Costa right here is probably going to swing in with the Polychronos and then follow it up with the Reaper. Reaper was a really good draw there.
Reaper was a great draw.
Yeah.
It takes away a lot of the live draws that Carlos
Definitely.
has.
Yeah, so...
Just because it's a creature, really. I don't think it mattered what creature it was.
Sure, but I mean, being a Reaper is pretty good. Just a 4/5 solid.
I mean, Reaper, if I could choose to draw 1 creature, I think... Well, Reaper and Storm Breath are the 2 choices.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I mean, you didn't want to be another Polychronos or whatnot.
Yeah.
All right, so Carlos will fall to 10, and there's a Reaper. So Carlos needs something here, or it probably be game over for him. Let's see what he draws. What's his best draw here? Is it a Garrick? Is Garrick going to help him?
I don't know if
Ooh, it's a Rorikdar? Is that a Roar? I think that was a Rorikdar. If that was a Rorikdar, that's one of the best draws because it stops the Rakdos return.
Does because
Oh no, wait, no, it doesn't stop the Rakdos return.
Because it still stops it.
No, because the Reaper can give Death Touch. So Costa's able to swing in with both his creatures. The Rorikdar is essentially going to. Well, what happens if it doesn't block? Oh, So it's going to come down to is Carlos going to block or not?
Well, Rurik has to attack.
Yeah.
So if you're Costa,
So
you
Costa
might
could just wait a
he
turn.
just waits a turn.
Oh, well, so Costa draws a hero's downfall. You're
Well, that's
normally going to be good,
you
but
can't
not
cast
here.
it,
Yeah,
no.
bad, yeah. So,
I think Costa can't make a lethal swing this turn.
yeah, Costa can't attack with anything because he needs to be able to gang block the Rorgdar because of trample. Trample with the Nylea.
Right, and it has trample, and there is 8
so
mana
that's
up,
10.
so it's a 10.
So that's 10. This is really, really close.
Yeah, well, Costa has 13 points of toughness, so right now things are still fine for him.
Yeah, I'm
But
definitely
they're tenuous,
excited.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited about this. That was a very good draw for him. What happens if Carlos draws a Dome Rod? Will that help at all? It would, right? No. Dome Rod wouldn't do it.
He could.
Could player
No, he needs more mana.
He needs to draw something that costs double green to turn Nylea on. That's what he needs right here.
Yeah, if he needs to make Nylea,
An Arbor Colossus is obviously the best draw here.
that'd be
yeah,
a very good draw.
very good draw. I'm not quite sure what he drew. Boon Satyr would be good.
Boon Satyr would be the best, I believe.
Even a Burning Tree Embassy would do it.
Yes.
All right, so this game was a lot closer than I think we thought out to be. So, did you see what Carlos drew or no?
No, not yet.
No,
So
okay.
we're going to be in suspense on that one.
All right, hopefully no one at home saw
Remember-
either, so everyone's kind of sweating this out.
This is about just basically the top deck. Rurik is going to have to attack this turn.
Yep.
And once it's off the table, Costa's hand is pretty hard to beat.
Yeah, well, it's something. It looked like a gold creature. Or a no,
It's the Temple of Abandon.
okay, yeah. So it was almost
it's a
a
stomping
ground.
ground.
Yeah, even worse.
All right, well, Rurik is going to have to attack. It has
And
vigilance,
yeah.
fortunately.
So it comes in. So there's a gang block there. So what do you take out here? The Polychronos?
Probably the Pelukrinos.
Yeah,
just
right.
because that way you buy yourself more turns. I mean, it's unfortunate for him that he didn't.
So
get
and then
the
Costa
draw.
has 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. So again, he could just take Carlos into 3. So Carlos is going to get another draw out of this, essentially.
Mm-hmm. He'll get another drop. So a double pump here.
Ooh, a double. Well,
Double pump's the same as single pump.
yeah, I believe so, right?
Yes,
Because
they're
that's
the same.
5, that's 8, that's 13. He tapped the Sylvan Carotid.
Yeah, the double pump and single pump, I believe, do the same thing.
Yeah, but him tapping the Sylvan Carotid is super bad now because now he actually dies
To Rakdos.
to the Rakdos return.
Yes.
Yeah, he didn't need the double pump there.
No, I don't. That could cost him the game.
Yeah.
Costa's taking his 2 Scry 1 triggers right now.
I mean, but do you think Costa doesn't realize he has one on board? It's Matt Costa. He probably does, right?
He's still just taking his free Scry triggers.
Takes free
you know?
Scry, okay,
they're
yeah.
free, right?
Sure. Okay.
Yes. Judging by how he's moving his lands, I believe he knows
Okay,
he
yeah.
has the win on board.
All right, so there it is. There's a Rakdos return, and then he's going to swing it. I wonder what Carlos' top card was. Maybe we get like a Rabbit Cam. No, we're not going to be able to see.
We're not going to get to see it. Yeah,
Because
no.
he would have had one more draw step if he.
Yeah, there aren't too many draws that